our next guest, Cary Jasgur. Cary, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Good to see you again.
It's almost lunchtime and it's getting loud. The vultures are circling.
Yeah, so were the flies. There is this one little fly that's keep coming back. It's driving me crazy.
So, Cary, we wanted to congratulate you. I know you were recently reelected as chairperson of the DRJ Editorial Advisory Board. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I was excited to start my first year and looking forward to the second.
Wonderful. I didn't notice that. So, was that announced? I didn't see
that's
it.
breaking news. I mean, Cary was reelected on Saturday. I think it's public and official. So, or maybe I'm breaking the news right now. But either way, congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, well, congratulations. That's wonderful. What does the role entail, by the way? I'm curious. Now you're speechless?
No, rarely. I work very closely with Bob and Leslie and John to set up our quarterly meetings. I sit on all of the committees so that I'm abreast of what's going on. In case one of the committee chairs is able to make a meeting, then I can speak on their behalf, at least what I remember from 3 months ago. But it's really a kind of a leadership and guidance position. There's not a lot of extra duties. It does not take a lot of my extra time. I don't make a day or anything. So the 4 meetings, 2 of them in person, 2 of them virtual. But it's a great way to stay connected to the industry and the latest and greatest things that are emerging, since a lot of them start within the DRJ world.
Well, actually, that leads then to my question. What are some of the things that you're seeing emerging?
Well, nothing new really across the board, but one thing that is gaining traction as we kind of get our hands around it, and that is DEI in our industry. And it's been a little slow going because it's a very delicate situation, but we are making strides in not only the sessions that we have at the conferences, but in the activities and information that we're gathering, so that we can better make these conferences as well as our industry more visible.
Yeah, and Cary, so I know as chair of the advisory board, like you said, you're on every committee, and the career development committee actually had a session here at DRJ Spring Sunday that you were a part of. So you want to work in resilience. Now what? For those in our audience who aren't here or maybe missed that, can you give us like a few highlights of what was covered in that session?
Yeah, it was a panel discussion. We had moderated by David Halford, who's a vendor with Fusion. We had representation for 2 practitioners, and I played the role of the consultant. So basically, we kind of did a quick introduction of ourselves and where we're at in our careers, and got an opportunity to actually talk about what brought us from 0 to where we are today. It was very interesting to see that every single one of us, it was not a linear path. It was like a couple U-turns, jump over a cliff.
Not literally.
No, just career-wise. I wish we had actually had more time, because there was more that we wanted to get into in regards to, the benefits of certification. If you choose to be a consultant, how much travel is involved. It's not the road warrior it was when I was a consultant in the early days, where
It is not.
you packed 3 suitcases because you were gone for a month.
Yes.
But it was actually very well received. We had several really good questions, and an interesting wealth of experience across the 4 panelists. Probably easily 75, 80 years of collective experience between the 5 of us.
What was one of the big surprises that maybe somebody said about their career that either they were shocked at or never expected to occur, but for some reason they've still got to where they are?
Well, before I introduced myself, I actually asked the question of, by show of hands, how many of you actually woke up and said, I want to do this? Not a single hand went up, which is what I expected. It's not like there's a lot of formal education programs outside of risk management per se that actually prepare you for this. You just kind of fall into it. One individual was actually a shock. He was right out of high school, started to work for basically 911 services. Like, that's not a logical jump that I would have made coming out of high school. Like, hey, I'm going
No.
to work third shift in EMS.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
For me, I didn't think it was a shock, but evidently it was a huge shock that I made the transition from the military into this space. A lot of what I did in the military led to this type of resilience environment. I just didn't know that's what it was.
Yeah, can you expound on that? Because we have interviewed a lot of people over the last 2 days who started in the military or were a first responder before moving to the private sector. I find that a very natural transition. Like you said, a lot of people are surprised when they find out certain, oh, your background was in military or in law enforcement or, in EMS.
Yeah.
Well, my position in the military was electronics technician. So there's a natural kind of technology component there. However, I worked in a top secret environment, so when I got out of the military, I could not get a job. It was, do you have the experience? Yes, I have years and years of experience in this. Well, tell us about that. So how am I supposed to get the experience when I already have it and get a job? So I went into accounting. That's what I did as summer jobs in high school. So I'm like, let's do that. I challenged my company. We had a help desk. So let me go work on the help desk and transition my career back into technology. So give me 3 months. If I fail, I'll come back and be close. And that's kind of where I started off. I joked in a discussion on Sunday that my first introduction to disaster recovery was the backup server right next to the production one, and you move the cable in the back. So that kind of dated me a little bit, but that's where I got my start, and it just kind of went from there. So it was always, like most people, it was an ancillary position in my role when I was in technology. I didn't move into resilience 100% until 2007.
It's interesting that some of the transitions people make, but I'm going to ask a different question. You talked about, there not being some of these courses out there for people to actually find and go to legitimately get into this industry rather than falling into the industry, as you say. So what would you suggest we do, either as an industry or try to do with partners, so that changes, so that going forward more people are actually seeing this as a possible career path rather than they see something else like you did and then falling into it?
Well, we're doing a portion of it now with mentorship programs. I not only with the DRJ mentorship program, but I work with a company called American Corporate Partners. It helps service members transition from the military to getting a job in the private sector. Oddly enough, a lot of those coming out are emergency management, business continuity, disaster recovery. We just don't know how to translate military into civilian speak. So programs like that are actually really good. Formalized education. If we were able to, and I know this is a really big stat out there, if we were able to go to college career fairs and talk to risk management students and realize that resilience is a risk component, and here's a stream you can think of besides the traditional risk management that may be of interest to you, using the skills that you've already had, because risk discovery is risk discovery, no matter what lens you look for. But I don't think that students today are aware that that's available. But they're looking at anyone who wants to transition from accounting to something else. There's no real clear avenue except get a mentor, come to a conference, take some online coursework. That's kind of it. It's mostly you need to do it. There's not an avenue that you can just jump into and say, I'm going to take this along and off I go.
Yeah, Cary, can you expand? You mentioned that mentorship program that you're a part of, and on Saturday you brought up an aspect of it to me that it never crossed my mind before. Most mentorship programs are time specific. Alex is going to be my mentor for 12 months. Cary's going to be my mentee for 24 months. But you said in that program that there are goal specific mentorships, which I love. Can you share a little bit about that?
So there's 3 levels of mentorship depending on It's mostly, so this company calls them proteges, mentee, protege, whatever. They really base it on what it is that the protege wants to accomplish. So if they really want I have no idea, I'm just getting into the workforce, and it doesn't necessarily have to be resilience, it could be anything. I've been lucky enough that my past three have all been resilience goals, but that's where they want it to be, so it made it super easy for me. But they have one that is a year long. You go through a more structured environment about resume writing, interviewing, and all the things that we go to get a job. Because if you think about it in the military, you never have to interview. You just move from job to job, and that's pretty much it. They also have shorter term ones that are like a goal. Say, my last one actually wanted to prepare a presentation for not really an industry conference, but more like it was for the Virginia Department of Emergency Management.
Okay.
So he wanted to prepare a presentation. He never spoke in public. I mean, other than casual conversations and that type of thing, never presented. So for 3 months, we worked on creating a presentation for him, and that's all he wanted to do. He already had the job. He just had to make a presentation. Another protege I had, it was a 6-month engagement, and she was already working in the industry, but she wanted to know how could she get promoted. So we worked on developing her skill set, her soft skills, so that she could get that promotion. So that type of flexibility makes it easier on the protege. It also makes it easier on the mentor, so I can target specifically. We're not going to waste time on interviewing skills if you really want to develop your soft skills. Let's focus on that.
Right.
And it's a little bit less structured. You meet however often the protege wants to meet. Mostly it's once a month. Occasionally it's every 2 weeks. The shorter term goal is usually every 2 weeks, so they can meet those milestones and things are not get lost.
So if somebody wants more information on that program, because I know it's here at DRJ and you're involved with that, how can they get that information?
Well, as James mentioned, we're taking a look in the Career Development Committee of DRJ and seeing if we can augment our existing mentorship program to have more options than that long term. The ACP environment is open to military service members only, so that limits our scope of individuals. But the DRJ mentorship program is open to anyone in the industry. So the more input that we get on what mentees are looking for in a program, the more we can actually shape the DRJ mentorship program to allow us to really get more bang for the buck, so to speak. And that's going to be a topic of our conversation in the career development meeting next month.
So I'm going to steal James's question. If anybody wants to reach out to you or learn more from your experiences and maybe the mentorship, understanding that a little bit more, how can people find you?
The easiest is LinkedIn. I'm not really a social media person, so I just consider LinkedIn a business extension. It's just another tool to communicate. That's probably the best place. Regularly speaking at conferences, run into me in the hallway, but LinkedIn is the best way to actually find me and get in touch with me.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Cary, for joining us once again.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Cary.
But I do want to say, James, if you're looking at me to be your mentor, you really need to up the bar at something. Because,
Might be setting your sights a wee bit low.
Hey, you're supposed to be on my side.
Enjoy, guys.
Thanks very much, Cary.
Thanks, Cary. Well, it is lunchtime.
It is.
We can hear the cacophony of noise. Things are moving along, and we want to thank Speak and Spark, who brought you this hour's broadcast. Speak and Spark is the speaker bureau marketplace, connecting event organizers with speakers in resilience, cybersecurity, and human resources. Their mission is to connect audiences to experts, which sparks conversation.
So thanks, Speak and Spark, and thanks everyone for listening for this last hour. We will be taking a 10-15 minute break, and we will be back at the top of the hour.